Hello, Old Brooklyn families. This is Mrs. Kaiser, principal of the elementary program.
And Mrs. Scott, principal of the middle school program.
We understand that you have so many questions right now regarding the choices for next school year, and we just wanted to review the two plans that are out and available. As you look at these plans, if you have any questions, please, if your child is in elementary, reach out to me either through email or a phone call.
And if your child is in middle school, please reach out to me, whether it's through email or phone call, and we will get back to you as soon as we can with the answer.
We're coming together in one place because we wanted to share the plans with you and let you know that the information is consistent. However, we do ask that you send your questions to either the elementary or the middle school. One thing that I want to say before we start reviewing the plans is how incredibly important it is to make sure that you are looking at updated information. Through this whole process, we know that information is changing consistently. So we are taking our guidance from the Department of Education, from the Health Department, from Governor DeWine, and that information is fluid and does change. So what we share with you now is the plan that is set now, but it may change. So please be aware of that. And when you're looking at the plans on the website, always make sure that you're taking a look at when it was updated. I don't recommend printing the plan out because if you print it out, you might end up having old information. I recommend that you really go to the website, look at the information that is there, and take a look at it and see what the updates have and how recent the information is that came out.
And the last update that was made was on 7/24/2020. That is the most current update as of now.
And today is July 27th, so the information that we're giving to you is coming directly from that plan. All right, so we do not envy you. We know that you have a very difficult decision to make. And we know that you don't have a lot of time to make that decision either. So the deadline for the Google form to be submitted and turned in is August 1st. Once that is done, then we can start figuring out in our buildings, one, how many students are going to be in the school and how many students are going to be in the remote learning. Many of you have asked questions about staffing, and honestly, some of those staffing questions are going to take place after we know where our families are going to be at. But as soon as we have that information, we will be sharing it with you. So I guess we will go to the first plan, which is the virtual learning program. There really is only two different plans that you can select. You can either select the virtual learning program or you select the hybrid learning / school closure. Those two go together. So the virtual learning plan is the plan that requires that your family has internet access. You have to have the ability to connect to the internet to go through the virtual learning program. The virtual learning program is going to look very, very different than what your child participated in last year when we went to school, when the schools were closed. Last year, we were kind of in this emergency state and we had to quickly put something into place. This year, we've been very thoughtful in how we have planned, and we have a very specific program that your child would participate in if they choose the virtual learning program. In the elementary school, what that is going to look like is a very specific school day. So your students in K through 4 will be attending classes starting very specifically at 8:30 in the morning. So your child has to log on at 8:30 in the morning and go to class, just as if they were at a school building. The difference is that they're not at the school building, they are at your house or at a different location. But the lessons are live and students are required to report in throughout the day and during the day following a school schedule. That's really important to know because there was lots of flexibility with the previous school year. The previous school year, they could log on at 3 o'clock and start working on their assignments. That is not going to be the case this school year. Tina, do you want to talk a little bit about attendance?
Yeah, so and why this is important that we are saying that students have to log on at those specific hours from 8:30 to 3:15 is because attendance will be taken several times throughout the day with alignment with the ODE requirements. So any missed class time or assignments will count against your child's attendance. So we want to make sure that you are fully aware of that starting the program, because as we did last year, if your child is not in requirement, we have to follow through with attendance plans and things like that. So we want to make sure that you are up to date with that information as well.
One of the questions we received about the virtual learning program was, what was the dress code? So that is one thing that we're looking at. Obviously, your child should not be in pajamas. So we're still making a determination if they have to be in traditional dress code clothes for the virtual learning program. But the expectation is that they are not in pajamas. They will be either in our school dress code, or else we will be giving you guidelines on what that would look like at a later date. So as soon as we have that information, we will share it with you.
And one of the requirements that we ask of you for the virtual learning program for K through 8 is that you do provide a distraction-free area for your child to attend class virtually each day. I would highly suggest their bedroom not be a place where they have their instruction taking place.
Think about a school environment that you might have at home that would provide the least amount of distractions for your child to be able to log in and do the live lessons. A parent that I talked to with this morning was talking to me about the fact that she had several different children in different grade levels. And she brought up an excellent point. She's not going to be able to have all three of her children sitting at the same place because they will be getting different content throughout the day, and that could be distracting for them. So that's something to keep into consideration and to remember. The benefits of the virtual learning program is that it's going to be a very consistent plan. You have the opportunity to enroll in virtual learning, and you will stay in virtual learning until the first semester ends, regardless of what happens in the county with the emergency levels. If we are level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4, your child is still following the exact same virtual learning plan. That is not going to change, and they'll have the opportunity to choose a different plan at the next semester. They can either remain in this plan or transition to the hybrid as of now. Again, with everything, that may change. Also, a lot of questions that we received were, are the classrooms going to be live streamed? As of this point, that is not what the plan is, but that may change depending on enrollment. Right now, it's going to be a specific teacher teaching that plan. It's not going to be a recorded lesson from the hybrid where our students are in class and the teacher is teaching and then it's getting streamed home. That's not what it's going to look like. So the other question was, okay, who are these teachers going to be? And unfortunately, that's not an answer that we can answer at this time because we do not know what our enrollment is going to look like in our school. So we have to wait and see what our enrollment will be before we can make some of those decisions. But I can tell you what the structure of the day will look like. So middle school will look a little different than elementary school in terms of which teachers are teaching. In elementary school, K through 3, it's pretty simplistic. In K through 3, one teacher will be teaching every single subject in the virtual learning program. Actually, K through 4. So my fourth grade, my entire elementary program, there's going to be one homeroom teacher who is teaching every single subject. Now keep in mind, in our school in fourth grade, we have one teacher who teaches math and one teacher who teaches language arts. That's not going to happen if you choose the virtual learning program. Your child will have one teacher that will be teaching all subjects to. So that's a big difference and something to be aware of. The middle school looks different.
And the middle school looks different because of the content area the teachers are able to teach according to their license. So in middle school, each math lesson through 6 through 8 will have a content licensed teacher teaching that content to the students. For 6 through 8, ELA, math, science, social studies, all of those, again, will be taught by a content required specific area for that area, if that makes sense. Fifth grade, what I'm trying to do for middle school, and the schedule has not been set yet, that is still a work in progress, of being able to provide students with a consistent schedule that's the same every day. So that will also pan over into the virtual learning so that it's very similar. We're trying to keep it as consistent as possible and as structured as possible.
So all students K through 5 in the virtual learning plan will have one homeroom teacher and only one homeroom teacher that will be teaching them. It may not end, and we don't know who those teachers are going to be yet until we know what the enrollment is. So I know that was a big question and we really can't answer it. So the virtual learning program is the program that you want if you want, one, consistency in the same plan throughout, and two, if you have internet connection. If you do not have internet connection, you cannot choose this plan because it is contingent on having live lessons delivered.
And I would just add real quick, I know she said if you do not have that availability to do the virtual plan, you need to make sure that you provide a reliable, high-speed internet service for live video lessons, the recorded lessons, and completion of a digital assignment if you are going to choose that option. The school will not be providing the internet service for you. That would be something you would have to research on your own if that is the option you want to go with.
Now moving on to the second plan that you have available to choose from. This one gets to be a little bit more confusing only because we might end up in school closure of the hybrid learning plan. So it's important to know we only have two different plans. We have the virtual learning plan, which consistently remains the same regardless of what happens with the COVID virus. And then we have the hybrid learning plan, which includes a face-to-face interaction in the school building. But if our county is a 3 or a 4, we go to the school closure of the hybrid learning, not a virtual learning program. The virtual learning program is completely different and separate. So let's talk about what the hybrid learning plan is. The hybrid learning plan will provide your child the opportunity to come to school with safe social distancing put into place. Our goal is to try to maintain the 6 feet apart within the classrooms as much as we can. We do not know what our enrollments in the building are going to be yet, but that is what we are aiming for. You can go through online and look at the other measures that we're putting into place. We're closing down the water fountains. We are having lunch in the classrooms. We're going to try to keep our students in our classrooms as much as we can. And instead of going to specials, our special teacher is going to go into the class. So we're trying to keep students in one specific area. Students report Monday through Thursday to the school building. On Thursday, following a regular schedule. On Thursday, the teacher will explain to the class or what the expectations will be for their Friday. On their Friday, students are going to be working remotely on different activities, which will be explained to them on the Thursday that they see their classroom teacher. Now, in the event that we go to a level 3 or a level 4 from the county, then the families that are in the hybrid learning model will transfer to the school learning closure plan, which is different than the virtual learning closure plan. There's a little bit more flexibility in terms of the school closure versus the virtual learning. However, the schedule in elementary is going to mirror what they would actually get throughout the academic day if they were in the building. So we are going to try to adhere to the same schedule to try to keep that a little bit more consistent. I expect there might be a few more recorded lessons that are available so families can look at those at different times. But it's important to know that we will only go to this model if we are in a level 3 or a level 4 with the county. Middle school schedule will also probably look consistent.
Right. And that is the hope and plan, that we keep it as consistent as possible. Routines are our friend, and we want to make sure that, we know that our students do best when there is a routine and specific procedures in place for them to follow. So that is our number one goal, is to try to keep that as consistent as possible. However, there might be a little bit more flexibility with the school closure plan, as far as teachers are expected to still work their normal school hours. So they will be available for your students if they do have questions or concerns regarding assignments and things like that. The leniency of the assignments, probably getting them turned in, and those types of things, as far as attendance goes, will be the work completion part of it, but there will also be lessons that students are required to check in into to count towards that ODE requirement for attendance.
So also with the hybrid learning plan, this plan was put into place to allow students to come together in the classroom. But please know that we are still going to be asking students to maintain social distancing. So this is where we need your help. We need you, if you are choosing the hybrid learning plan, to start working with your child. All students 10 and up have to wear a mask. So start helping them understand what that is and how to wear it safely. It should be covering the nose. It should be fitting snugly around the face. And 10 and up has to wear it. So if you want to wear it and you're younger than 10, that's fine. That's completely up to you. Also, we are asking for safe social distancing. So that's going to look a little bit different. There won't be as much cooperative work that's going on in the classrooms. Students will be sitting at their desks or spaced apart, and we're doing that to try to keep children safe. So please make sure they understand that it will look very, very different, and the interaction is going to feel very different as well in the classroom.
I think the biggest thing that we want to emphasize with the whole pandemic and the health requirements is that make sure you are constantly washing your hands. Do not touch your face. We ask the students to respect each other's privacies, personal belongings, that, we're only touching the items that we need to be touching that are our own and not somebody else's. But hand washing is our number one that we want to make sure that the kids are doing, and we will provide those opportunities for the kids throughout the day as needed, along with sanitizing stations.
So elementary will have a specific hand washing schedule and a specific bathroom schedule that they will be following and adhering to. And you can help us at home by teaching your child how to wash their hands. I know that sounds silly, but a lot of our kiddos, we see them, they quickly scrub them and then they're done. And so we try to tell them to sing happy birthday 2 times and, really trying to pay attention to those types of things. The more you set up the expectations at home, the better it's going to be for us working together in the school environment. And also, remember, you are modeling for your children. So I know that this is not easy for anybody, but the more positive you are about what is going on, the more your child is going to feel comfortable about what's going on as well. So please help us by just reassuring your children. It has to feel very scary and very different for them, but we will do everything that we can do here, and working together is going to make a huge, huge difference.
And I just want to add with the masks, because I know this past weekend I had to wear a mask for 11 hours straight, and I know how uncomfortable and difficult it can be. So the more you get your child in a routine of wearing a mask for specific amounts of times a day will help them become accustomed to wearing it, and it not being this big thing on their face that they constantly want to touch, take off, or remove because they're having trouble breathing. So I think if you can, increase their time in their mask, will also help us within the school as well. So any support we greatly appreciate on your end as well.
And one thing I don't think that we mentioned was with the hybrid learning plan, when you choose the hybrid learning plan and we end up going into school closure, what will happen is that your child's teacher will remain your child's teacher. So that's a consistent plan. A consistent person will be teaching in the school closure or the hybrid learning piece of the hybrid learning plan, following the regular school day as much as we possibly can with that plan. Some of the questions that we've been receiving, unfortunately, we really don't have answers to right now. So a lot of those questions are, what is the ratio going to be in the classrooms? Well, we don't know. We really don't know yet until we see how many of our families have chosen hybrid and how many have chosen virtual. Another question, what is going to happen if a student tests positive? We really are still waiting to get our guidance from the Ohio Department of Health, and we will be doing everything that we are supposed to be doing, but when that information comes out, we will be sharing it with you. One thing that we are asking is we know that many of our families love to drop their kids off early. We are asking that you do not do that this year. There is nobody outside to ensure that your children are socially distanced. Do not drop your child off before school starts if you choose the hybrid learning plan.
And to provide the ultimate safety for your child during arrival and dismissal would be for you to utilize that carpool line, especially for morning arrival. This will lead to the students not having to congregate outside the doors as they have done in the past. And that way you can ensure your child's safety by keeping them in the car until the absolute moment they need to step out, and then they can travel into the building as needed.
As you are going along, trying to weigh the pros and cons and trying to figure out what the best decision is for you and your family, please know that we understand that this is a tough decision that we're asking you to make. And we're here at the school building to provide any help and support, better explaining the plans as much as we possibly can. So please, elementary families, just reach out, give us a call, give us an email. We will respond and we will try to answer those questions as much as we can. Middle school, please give a call, send an email. I know Mrs. Scott and her team is very eager to answer those questions as well.
And please give us at least 24 hours to respond. We are getting a lot of emails and calls, so we want to make sure that, we will respond to you. Just please be patient and flexible, as we know you always are, because we truly appreciate that. That helps us tremendously, and we can't thank you enough for the support that you provide us on a daily basis.
So hopefully this helped answer some of your questions. I have to say that I am looking at that Google Sheet as you are making your choices online. And every time I see a student's name coming up and I see that I'm going to have the opportunity to see them in the building, I get excited. And, if you choose the virtual learning program, I might not see your children every day, but make no mistake, they're still my babies. And I am looking forward to the moment when this virus is completely done and we have a good solid vaccine and herd immunity that and we can come back together as the school family that we are. And until that happens, I greatly appreciate your support.
And just know we're here for you. If you need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We understand as working parents and parents with children in school that we're going through the same things you are. So we can do this together. We are a team.
Bye, Old Brooklyn family.
Have a great afternoon.